equals to twitch.tv/Honcast. And that can only mean one thing, being a Thursday here especially. We have some Hon Tour Season 3 playoff action going to be coming at you. Of course, that is right. We are into the playoffs starting this last Tuesday with a great 3-game series. In case you missed it, Willowkeeper versus Coolio ultimately ended up going 3 games in the end. Willowkeeper did advance on, as you see right here on the brackets. The other winner's bracket matchup that we're going to be casting now is Fresh, formerly known as Dawn, now known as Fresh. They're going up against Night Raid. Night Raid is definitely an interesting team and a lot to talk about with them. With that said, excited to be here as always, ladies and gentlemen. With that said, Minimaga, my co-caster, is running just a little bit late here from work. Again, this match, of course, it is starting even a little earlier than the usual. Had to be rescheduled to a little bit earlier in the day. Absolutely. I want to say Absolute Legends, because that's basically what they're tagged up as. But anyways, Night Raid over here, they had to reschedule to a little bit earlier, them being mainly a West Coast team. Want to get this matches played before they have school and whatnot to take care of later on in the day. This being a weekday, of course. So made it work out, though, in the end, and that's what matters here. And again, excited to be here with that said. Now we talked a little bit about this on Tuesday, how this matchup here for me, really, Night Raid is the dark horse team. I mean, sure, going into this, no doubt. You got to favor Fresh. They got a strong roster. They're the ones that have had some pretty impressive results overall. Of course, you look at some good players over there, Probus and Zibby, even most recently joining them, doing some big plays and everything. So, yes, when it comes to experience, when it comes to being lately a very, very solid team, got to give them the favorites to win this. Now, with that said, though, Night Raid, you really never know what can happen with a team like this. We got plenty of players on this team you probably recognize, of course, including Cookies. He's had plenty of history on the Hon scene, and he's going to be playing here today for Night Raid. Now, yes, the obvious is how practiced is this team? How experienced is this team as of late? They have been competing in that gold division for quite some time. They got dropped down. We're never really able to make it back up to Diamond, getting some top-tier finishes. But again, never really able to make it back up. But hey, sometimes it only takes a good day, and before you know it, they're advancing on. So we'll see. We'll see how they work here. Now, with that said, okay, it looks like my co-caster is here officially, so just in time. There we go. Got Minnie. Minnie's on the line and probably out of breath here.
Yeah, I'm pretty out of breath, Frankie. But
running home.
How much did I miss? I did actually. That's dedication, man. Dedication.
It is. Yeah, you didn't miss much. In fact, we're still in the draft here, so
nice.
As soon as you get logged on here and into the game, you'll notice that as well. So, yeah, I was basically just finishing up my introduction, to be fair to you. You know, talking about these two teams here. I mentioned on Tuesday that for me, Night Raid has to be kind of a dark horse team here in Group A. You don't know what they're going to bring to the table because, again, this is a team with plenty of skilled players. We kind of saw it with Coolio on Tuesday. Sure, you got Willowkeeper, the favorite team, but Coolio really showed that with some star-named players, if they bring it together, if they connect, they can defeat even the top-tier teams. Similar situation here, I think, is safe to say.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm in the draft now, and I can see Tremble being picked up from Mint.
Yeah.
I remember it was one of the heroes that actually the original Dawn player, Certesla, used to love to play, but I guess Probask sort of somewhat known playing Tremble. I mean, I think the hero is incredibly strong as well. I mean, normally we see some games where it's not picked or banned depending on the team, but I think it's one of those heroes that you should always have in your arsenal.
Yeah.
Because it offers up so many different sort of viable strategies. So, and also, I mean, if you're so good with it as well, then it can force like a blind ban against you as well. It's kind of similar to what Cage does with Sync. So. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Tremble is a very scary hero in the right hands. There is no doubt about that. So, yeah, we'll see how Mint, a.k.a. Fresh, is able to handle that here. Again, who ultimately is going to play? You said probably Probus from the sound of it. But we'll see where that ultimately ends up here on this Hellborn side. But yeah, that's definitely worth pointing out. Other than that, you know, nothing too radical here. Let me just scroll back up real quickly to the initial bans. It was Ophelia, Warbeast, Parasite, and Dr. Repulsor is how it went. So yeah, nothing out of the ordinary there. All very strong heroes, really against any team, let alone in certain cases here. You know, Warbeast banned out by Mint. Of course, you got Night Raid over here. I'm sure they would have liked to play that. They don't got what you got, but they got definitely some strong players themselves, and somebody I'm sure could play that Warbeast pretty well. So yeah, yeah, those being banned out. The picks overall, you got you had Magnus into Kraken, Bubbles into that Tremble, and then Soul Stealer into Andromeda. Tempest, Keeper of the Forest, Rally, Legionnaire, Kinesis, and Pyromancer are the bans, and then there's the Flux pickup coming out on top of it as well. So Night Raid going almost a little bit old school here, just a lot of AoE synergy. They got Soul Stealer on top of that. This should be interesting.
Yeah, but I think Mint are ready to almost counter that, though. Like, they picked up Tremble, which arguably is one of the best split-pushing heroes in the game. So if Mint want to, they can not even force team fights if they want to. I mean, with Engineer as well, I mean, I don't think Mint really have the heroes to take team fights. Like, I think they should just carry on going with the sort of split-push build here. Unless they are like really far ahead or they find the right pickoffs, for example, to take team fights. I don't see how they're going to take team fights. Like Soul Stealer, Magnus, Engineer, Bubbles. Yeah, it's too much team fight, put simply.
Yeah. So now the final pick going to be coming out. Yeah, I wonder if Mint actually, if they even thought at all about the Engineer with that fourth pick or whatnot. Because yeah, it's one of those cases. Like, sure, they may not have thought about it in the banning stage with the Flux being picked up after the fact, but. Hey, they gave it up in the end. So, yeah, Night Raid almost going to be leaning on the fact that they got a pretty powerful AoE synergy lineup. But you are right. Mint, in a sense, almost drafting around that idea that, hey, you can team fight all you want. We're not necessarily going to force ourselves into that. We'll just counter push and let you deal with that, is what they're going for here. So, now, what is Mint going to finish off with here? They're going to go Torture, it looks like. So, they will run the dual support in the end. I was wondering if maybe a jungle option, but a lot of junglers being banned, so not a big surprise. To see that secondary support here.
Yeah, and I think it can work, though. I mean, they have some very, very strong laning phases if they can get off a good start. Because if you look at, I keep calling them Absolute Legends, but I guess they're called Night Raid now.
I did the same thing, man.
Yeah, like Night Raid, I mean, how are they going to run this? They're going to run like a jungle Bubbles or something, or second support Bubbles? Where's their other support? Unless they're going to run Magnus as the secondary support, which is pretty more likely. But regardless of how they lane it, I still think Mint have the better laning stage, so if they can really take use of the Andromeda and Torch and maybe get some good early roams off, it should be good. Because like Night Raid strategy is, pick up the core items and start team fight, and if they can delay them, then that's Mint's game plan. And I think with Valkyrie and Tremble as well, I mean, they don't even need to force team fights, honestly, like I said before. So.
God, Valkyrie really... I wonder if a lot of Valkyrie coming back onto the scene honestly has a lot to do with Veiled Rot. And, what I'm getting at is that Veiled Rot, it's becoming more and more of just, you need to use it every single game. I mean, we see it constantly being used now by pretty much every single team. And I wonder if that idea really resonated with people in the sense that, holy crap, this is a powerful tool. Mass invising as a team, going by wards as whatnot as a result, and ultimately getting ganks. Valkyrie, of course, has that inherently built with the Valkyrie Prism. Not as strong because, of course, Rev wards can definitely still see them, but the same idea at least. So I wonder if that has a little bit to do with Valkyrie making a bit of a comeback.
I think it might be, though, because I talked to a couple of competitive players, and I said the most annoying thing about Veiled Rot is that you always have to have an item slot open for it. So in the late game, it's quite frustrating to really keep on using it kind of thing. So
yeah.
Makes
Bottom
sense.
lane, this is interesting. Now, the Warder site was placed down, spawning Magnus, of course, so Misery setting up as if he wants to make something happen here, but not going to be the case. But this is going to be aggressive tri-lane, man. We're going to see some try versus try action, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah, and it's good because Mint are really trying to push their laning advantage, which like I said, which they should. It does look like this Magnus is going to be a second support, but I mean, a defensive tri-lane with a Soul Stealer and a Magnus second support, I mean, it's not looking strong compared to what Mint have going into this tri-lane. So
yeah, Mint. I mean, that's some strong tri-lane synergy. Andromeda Torture to lead the way with the initial stun. You got an easy arrow set up as a result of that. So yeah, I definitely fear for Night Raid over here when it comes to their standing their ground against this tri-lane.
Like if Night Raid know that they want to run a defensive tri-lane, I don't know why they don't put Soul Stealer mid. Flux would be so much better in this tri-lane. He'd be stronger, and also it gives Soul Stealer a lot more farm in the middle lane as well. Like, I mean, Soul Stealer was regarded as like one of the best 1v1 mids back in the olden days. Like, and if this opportunity presents itself, I don't see why he's not put there. But
yeah, this is extra difficult because Soul Stealer, of course, not only does he not provide a stun or anything like that, but he needs souls, man. He needs those souls to end. This is not easy to get last hits in a try versus try. He finally gets one right there, but he's still going to be pretty weak in this early game stage. That nice deny right there on top as I say that, but.
One thing to point out, though, a really nice place by Serenia is make sure to block the pool cap, though, which is the biggest thing. If you're going against, if you're ever running an aggressive tri lane, you have to make sure that this pool is shut down. Particularly against heroes like Magnus, like him being level 1 offers absolutely nothing in the tri lane. So if you can sort of shut him down in that respect, you're gonna have a good time. And they're going in the
yeah, they're going in. There's the arrow perfectly set up. Will it be enough follow-up? Torture, can he get his done? Yes, he can. I still don't know if it's going to be enough. In fact, Magnus line's done, and he will survive in the long run. Now, can they get a counter kill? That would be absolutely huge, but they cannot. Again, their firepower just not nearly as strong as that of Mint over here. So at least they save Soulstealer. Of course, that's great news. Unable to pick up the counter kill, though, and Mint will kind of reset now. You know it's coming again, though, and especially with level 2s coming up here in the near future, that's even more damage that you're going to have to worry about. So it's going to continue to be on their back foot is Night Raid here. Specifically this Soulstealer, a very, very vulnerable target. Let's real quickly take a look at the other lanes before we keep going back to the bottom lane, because for obvious reasons, that's going to be where the action's at. We got Flux versus the Kraken in the middle. He made a mention, why not run Flux bottom? He's mid in the end, so we'll see how he does there. I'm sure he should do just fine, of course. He is 11-2 compared to an 11-0 Kraken, so pretty back and forth. He got the top. Bubbles versus the Tremble up here. Again, Bubbles, he also should be somewhat fine. But back to the bottom lane, some stuns coming out right here. Andromeda actually pushed forward. Andromeda's going to fall first, so Night Raid actually strikes first here, and they may get something else out of this. They're going to go for a kill to Valkyrie. She does not have her leap as a result of her early skill build. Magnus no mana for a stun, though, and Valkyrie will survive. But how about that? Night Raid gets the Bloodlust.
And I think, I mean, there was the first instance where they tried to go on the Soulstealer before. I think I was going to point out that Torture sort of manned down a little bit, like backed off, didn't want to add those extra attacks, and same goes for there as well. And second of all, he specs Impalement in a tri-lane, which I completely disagree with. And particularly when you're in like a tri-lane, obviously, there's a lot of heroes that can steer in the Impalement, but also because the creeps are going to get in the way as well, and like he popped it and just did no damage. Yeah. If he specs the Agonizing Bonds there, I mean, it's only 65 damage, but that could have definitely been enough.
Guaranteed 65 damage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not only that, but it's 65 damage to almost all the other heroes as well. So, yeah, so far I'm not particularly impressed with Iceland Gogo. I think there's 2 misplays in this tri-lane already.
Absolutely agree. Definitely see the logic behind it. So, yeah, kind of questionable there with his skill build. But in the end, you know, having to deal with it now, you do see Mana Battery starting to be picked up. Speaking of Torture, he gets one himself. So far, the only one, no, Soulstealer did just pick one up as well. On top of those boots. So, yeah, Mana Battery is, of course, very impactful now. It's kind of interesting, because Soulstealer's been by himself for a little bit right here. A little surprised he hasn't been gone on, but obviously Mint doesn't necessarily have all that information to work with. Both Magnus and Engineer, they went all the way back to base to regen, and now they're just coming back in. Now, the positive of this, it did allow Soulstealer to at least get some solo experience, a little bit that he did get because of being out of range, but still, he got a little bit there, and that could be pretty impactful as this game continues to progress here in the long run.
And I do like his skill build as well. Actually, he's maxed the souls, the demon hands in that respect, because it's really good. Because like I said, he's not getting a lot of last hits, but the extra, like, it's the double. It doubles in terms of damage from level 1 to level 2. So it's probably like a guaranteed at least 2 of those. So yeah, I do like the skill build there from King Plato as well. Yeah,
of course, those demon hands, signature ability when it comes down back to the Dota days even, and it's definitely one of the most iconic abilities. The fact you're looking at 300 magic damage. Up to 3 times, of course, and a very efficient farming tool, arguably the best in the game when it comes to quickly flash farming is Soulstealer. So, but yeah, back here are the supports. So once again, we got both teams full force, good to go with the try versus try action. But you got a level 2 engineer now, so he does have a turret to assist on top of that Kegstone. But again, you also got the levels adding up here on the Hellborn side. Torture did put it level 2 into that stun. So we'll see now if he maybe learned from that example or if he still is going to insist on leveling up the Impalement here. In the middle lane. Oh, they're just going back and oh, maybe actually Kraken. No, he charges away the discharge. He wants this kill. One more auto attack. No, he cannot get it. Good attempt right there. Top lane Kelpfield was used actually on a Tremble. He's trying to pick up a kill here, but I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, he's just a little bit too tanky and hugging that tower. So both lanes actually, the Mint actually getting pretty low right there, but they do both survive in the end.
Yeah, Bubbles and Tremble are going at it, but Bubbles might be in trouble. He doesn't have a chill surf, actually. I think he's going to die.
Oh, who's going to die? Will it be Bubbles? It will. Tremble barely lives. That shield, the Iron Buckler of his, no doubt assisting a little bit as well to keep himself alive. So yeah, he got counterplayed there in the end, and sure enough, gets taken out. Wards have despawned here at the bottom lane. Speaking of that, you can kind of see both sides in that area now. Trying to take advantage of the lack of vision here. But yeah, Tremble probably the last hero you want to be giving up a kill to here in Mint's case. So that's not good news for Night Raid on the other hand.
Yeah, and although, I mean, this tri-lane is 1-0 down in terms of hero kills, Zibe is actually farming a lot better than King Plato. I expect that to start changing near like level 5, level 6 from Soul Stealer, because he's going to have a lot more higher base damage. But I think one thing's for certain, though, is that this mid tri-lane is going to have the X-Factor, though, because obviously Tremble's put his mound down here. So whenever the lane gets pushed in favour of Mint, Soul Stealer might come out too far and get picked off in that respect. So yeah, you see little Boris already setting up for things, but he's going to get spotted though now from the water side. So
yep, not so sneaky as Boris this time around at least, but yeah, constantly having to pay attention for that. Of course, Probusk has plenty of microing experience. Safe to say he's going to be pretty comfortable with a hero like Tremble in this case. Andromeda Invis. That could have been a 10 Magnus quickly, but he falls back just in time. I don't think he realized how close to death he was in Misery, but he does stay alive here.
It's just they got Langtra at the moment. Like, if they lose Langtra, I'm pretty sure Soul Stealer is guaranteed going to die. So.
He's going to get caught again, though. There's a Comet on the arrow, easily on top, and down he goes. So the first time he was a little bit lucky, the second time not so much. Again, he really had no reason to believe that an Invis Andromeda was there. There was no vision on the ward or anything like that. It just simply happened to be the case. And yeah, good rune control definitely coming up by mid. So RNG definitely a little bit in their favor, but hey, that's why you rune control, of course, for situations like that. Yeah, I mean, I constantly go back to this GPM chart, and what seems to be the harassment in favor, especially with this Flux constantly against Kraken, and we saw Bubbles earlier against Tremble despite dying. Seems like he was putting in some good pressure, but overall farm definitely favor the Hellborn team. In fact, speaking of pressure, Flux is in a little bit of trouble. Boris there, release the Kraken now. It is a tanky hero. Bubbles comes in. He pushes them away with the discharge. Boris is still chasing. Not going to be able to do it in the end, though, and Flux will survive. So very close calls here in this middle lane, but managing to survive in the end again.
Yeah, I think honestly Labyrinth sort of jumped the gun. Andromeda was literally like about 2 or 3 seconds behind, but obviously they went in before Andro could get the Comet stuff off, and now as a result, Torturer dies. Yeah,
they get a counter kill at the bottom lane. Magma's going to hide in that Steam Bath. Valkyrie can't do much about that. As Andromeda is coming in, though, so Soul Stealer, he needs to be a little careful, especially with Boris here. Boris chasing the Magnus, the Comet stun hits, down goes Magnus. They have an arrow, no, 10 more seconds. She hasn't called the Valkyrie, though. Tremble trying to get in range for some auto attacks. They want to dive the Soul Stealer. Will they be able to successfully do it? Look at that damage, man. It's ridiculous. This early on, Soul Stealer cannot get away, and the dive successful from Probus. So good heads up by Probus, and he just pours back to the top lane as if nothing even happened. So yeah, that's very good movement, and he's going to really start excelling now in that goal per minute here, most likely.
Yeah, and I'm seeing like every single time a tri-lane happens, it always seems like at least one person has like the sort of X factor. In this case, obviously the Tremble. In other games, it can maybe be the Warbeast Battlecry, and then other games, I mean, back when BMG were playing, we had the Thunderbringer or the Bombardier. And I think that extra bit of damage really goes a long way in these tri-lanes. Like even if it's only like 100, 150 damage, that can be the difference between securing a kill or not.
Yeah.
And I guess this goes back to just a good draft from Serenia in this game, just expecting the tri-lanes to happen.
We do see a little bit of rotation coming out. Andromeda and Torturer, they're trying to set up something now. Flux could be that something. Boris is here. He actually nets him before he dies. Torturer gets a stun, but again, you see Flux so tanky, man. Has that crushing claw, the steam boots. In fact, Bubbles comes in confident. Only hit Andromeda, though. If that had Torturer as well, that would have been much bigger, but in the end, the Valkyrie Prism also doing work. Discharge now will spot them, I believe. I think that's how it works. But anyways, yes, they get pulled in, but now Flux counterplayed. He goes down with the release of Kraken. Magnus and Engineer, they just come a little bit too late right there, unfortunately. So they had the right idea right there. They even had the numbers, but in the end, not able to secure any kills. On to Mint. I mean, Probus is doing a fantastic job with this.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah, and he's last hitting really well as well at the same time, and it just goes back to that X factor, just having that ability to really have an impact all over the map, even while your hero's doing something elsewhere. It's almost like a sand ray factor, where even though you're farming your own lane, kind of thing. He's doing a lot of work. I think in that a little bit of an engagement there, I think there's a little bit of miscoordination though.
Yeah.
Misery went on and stunned Andromeda though, whereas Kraken saw the stun on Andromeda and mad up against the Flux, and yeah, it cost Night Raid a kill right there.
That it did. Bubbles, in fact, rotating towards the bottom lane, though. Invis is going to be bottled up by him, so we'll see if President 25 can actually make some momentum happen here for Night Raid, because, they got the bloodlust early on. They have a second kill since, but really, even after that bloodlust you were mentioning, I mean, when it came to last hits, definitely in favor across the board of Night Raid, really, and that still shows in the GPM charts. Valkyrie going for the arrow onto Magnus, just missing, but Magnus still might be in some trouble once again. Gonna Steam Bath. Here comes Invis. Bubbles, so gonna open onto Andromeda. Doesn't have a kill field. Shelter Fin. It's not gonna see his Torture as well. Will it be a kill on Andromeda? Andromeda's still alive. Finally goes down, but Bubbles takes a lot of damage. They take cover the last second, though, to stay alive. and will survive in the long run for himself. So that could have been much worse, but hey, at least they get a kill out of it. And hopefully Soulstealer can go back to farming. He is on 30 souls, by the way, so Soulstealer managing to hit that mark, and that is very important. Oh, that's right, though. It did get increased to 40, though, so he still isn't at the max. However, he only has a level 3 of the ability, so he's at the max for the time being. They want to go in and onto this Valkyrie, but no, it's going to be too quick of a reaction. In fact, Magnus, again, needs to be a little careful here. Not going to be a turn. They're going to go on Andromeda. Arrow not going to happen. Andromeda, the Demon Head will connect it. Down he goes. Here comes Treble, though, porting in with the mount. The Courier also a little bit of danger right there. Magnus, though, hides in the steam bath, but Torture's like, nope, you ain't going to hide for long, bitch. Gets him killed as he stuns him out. So, again, rotation from Mint, Probusk. This is why you do not want to give Tremble to a hero, to a player that is comfortable with the hero. Clearly, Probusk is.
Yeah, definitely, and he's just doing so much work with it as well. Like, he obviously won his lane, got the solid kill on Bubbles, and he's winning all the other lanes as well. And it's just ridiculous. He's got the highest farmer as well, so Probusk's really playing incredibly well. I mean, I think he wants to go to Thailand, man. I mean, it was actually a little bit of a storyline. If you remember, obviously, he was going to go to Thailand with Sync last year, but got booted off just before. So, I mean, the fire's in him, man. He wants to go to Thailand.
That's right, man. Yeah, well, who replaced him? Was it?
It was Mickey.
It was Mickey. That's right. Yeah, he came last minute. Oh man, I remember that now. That is right. Mickey initially was quitting, and then all of a sudden was like, you know what? Never mind. I like Hun. I want to come back, and why not compete in the World Finals? Yeah, that was so it's safe to say that he's hungry for. Fresh is definitely a team that will keep in region. They've been the focus so far. Going into these playoffs, there's been ourselves even. We had Zlapdon. A similar. And I wouldn't be surprised if we did a poll. A lot of people would say have the same opinion that Willowkeeper and Reason are possibly going to be the final two teams. But you cannot let Fresh go by either. I mean, again, with the experience that they have, Probus, as he said, he's hungry. Is Zebe a fantastic player across the board? This is a team that has definitely started to mesh more and more together over the bit of time here. So do not forget about them, basically, in the long run, too. It's going to be a fun run, man, here in the playoffs. Bottom lane, we see more engagement happening, actually. Magnus still going to get caught out. Again, Treble's here. He's level 11, looking to help chase down the Soulstealer. Puts another mount down. He's got a Thunderclaw, by the way, so some good damage. He does not want to dive it, though, all the way. However, Engineer, 0-item Engineer. He falls back to the tower and does survive. But the movement continues, and, yeah, the Thunderclaw on Tremble. That's that. So his farm is going to starting to shoot up. I mean, 366. Going to go even further. Nice kill by Flux. Cookies. Getting a solo kill and a Labyrinth here on Kraken. So there's something at least for Night Raid.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, although Mint are definitely ahead, I think this is to be expected that they had the superior laning phase, and they are definitely going through with that. I mean, but if you look at Night Raid, their team fight and the AoE presence is still there, and the laning phase, particularly when you play tri-lanes, the laning phase is always extended by another 5 to 8 minutes, for example. So when it gets into the mid-game, when the core items start happening, maybe the portal key on Flux, if that's what he decides to go for, the portal key on almost everyone, it feels. I mean, anyone on this team could get a portal key. That's when you've got one mode combo. But yeah, I mean, when Night Raid start picking up their core items, Min are going to be in danger in terms of shall we take this team fights or shall we not? Because Night Raid, even though they've got no farm, as long as they've got levels, they're still a scary team.
Core items is one thing, but honestly, just even level 6 is, Kraken going for the charge on a Flux, but just missing right there, and Flux returning some damage. But back to the bottom lane, they do catch Zibber right there, pick him off, and that's the first death on a Valkyrie, and it's going to be a second one on Andromeda as well, as she goes down. So a couple of sneaky kills right there. Magnus and Engineer were hiding in the trees, and clearly Mint was not aware of that. But yeah, you see Magnus hitting level 6, and Engineer, he has to be close as well. So again, that's the pretty impactful mark here. Once they all have their ultimates, that's going to be the scary part, and of course the items are then the next step to that. So now, very interesting. Now it is Zebe. He's known for doing interesting builds here. Flux in the meantime in the middle lane, going to be collapsed on. The charge does connect, release the Kraken. He's going to get out before knowing it would be enough damage. Bubbles not going to shell surf in. That would have been pretty risky. So yeah, they should be fine as far as getting away. No Kelpio to stop that TP. Valkyrie Prism, are they going to try something here? Andromeda running in. No, probably not. But Thunderclaw picked up a Valkyrie as well. I mean, when you already have a hero that has a Thunderclaw on your team, it almost seems like a little greedy here. I like it, though. You like it?
I like it. The reason being is because it's the reasoning behind it. They're like, guys, we can't take team fights. Let's just split push it and take this late, which they definitely can. They've got Kraken, Valkyrie, and Tremble, all three that scale incredibly well into the late game. If you look at Night Raid, it's only the Soulstealer. Like I said, the Night Raid team fight is incredibly strong. although Mint are winning the laning phase, I don't think it's enough to really warrant them going for team fight. So they're like, look, guys, let's split push. Let's go late with this game, and going the Thunderclaw is the perfect item to do that because you can farm incredibly effectively and push out creep waves very, very fast. So no, I really do like the item build.
Yeah.
For Mint.
No, that makes sense there. The logic behind it. So Zibbe picking up that Thunderclaw, and he's trying to almost bait something out here. He got Andromeda and Torture again, both off to the side, but not going to fall for anything. Flux is here. He is level 11, speaking of hitting some good levels here. And I wonder, is Cookies going for the portal key here, you think? That's just their style of lineup, just need that initiation?
Yeah, I think so, because they want to force team fights.
Oh, that's a big 5-second arrow. He just ran right into it. Yep, that's true.
Pretty good arrow there, but yeah, and like I said, I think as long as Night Raid are at least not say 10,000 gold behind, I think they still got a chance. But going back to your question though, Breaky, the portal key and Flux, I guess I think they'll definitely some form of initiation. He's farming a lot faster than the bubble, so I think he will pick up, and as he does right there. They need to force fights, because they're still stronger in team fights, I believe, even though they are 5,000 gold behind. And Portal Key is just the perfect item to force that, the initiation, and to make sure that Mint just simply can't run away from those team fights.
Now, you look at Soul Stealer's item build as well. He actually gets a Sustainer here. Going to be going to an Null Stone would be the obvious choice from that. So, not, no bubbles?
Oh.
Wow.
Oh my god, that damage.
That damage is absurd. The Impalers, man. It's just so much. Bottom lane, actually, he needs to pick up a kill on a Torture, though, so at least a counter kill, but definitely still in favor of Mint. But, yeah, Null Stone, will that prove to be the best option here, you think?
I think he definitely needs to farm, because you can't simply just automatically take team fights. And although he's got bottle, I just don't think the regen is going to be enough just from bottle itself. So I think Nullstone into portal key will be good. I don't think he needs the stats, because they're going to hopefully be getting the jump themselves, so he should be getting the jump with someone else. And I think there's a lot of stacks going on. The tri-lane looks to have been dispersed, so he can sort of AFK farm the jungle to really sort of bounce back, because he didn't have the greatest time in lane. Although it's 300 GPM, I mean, normally we see Soul Stealers maybe 400 GPM at this time if they're having a good game, so I do like the iron build. If he goes straight portal key, he's going to have severe mana regeneration issues.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of that mana, he's going to spam it right there to take out the creep wave again. It's such an effective farming tool with those demon hands one after the other, so usually 2 demon hands, at least earlier on in the game, will easily clear the creep wave. Lands them correctly. Middle lane, Flux, he's looking like they might want to set something up here. Engineer is level 6 as well. Now it is just Kraken. You got Andromeda behind, ready for a swap, so got to be a little bit careful here how much you commit. Shrunken Head finish in the meantime on Probusk.
I didn't realize how much farmed he was, but 480 GPM and 4004 is going to do that for you. But yeah, I mean, with that item though, it can go 2 ways. Obviously, with the Shrunken Head, he can keep on fight, or can start team fighting if he wants to, or he can just keep on split pushing. There's nothing that really stops it. Oh, Kraken.
So they pull him in right there. They haven't discharged just yet, but the energy field, there's that swap we're talking about. He has a discharge, a perfect placement on the energy field. This is that team fight coming out right here for Night Raid. Valkyrie's also going to get caught. Valkyrie will fall in the NA4 for nothing exchange. That's exactly what the team from USA needed right there, and now they're going to be pushing this middle lane as a result. Perfect execution, man. That Flux ulti. Beautiful placement.
Oh my God. That team fight was, it just wiped 4 teams, 4 of Mint completely there. And yeah, this is what I was talking about. Even though Mint are, they were what, 5-6k ahead, it doesn't matter. Their team composition just doesn't have the items to fight this early, whereas Night Raid do. Just going back to the Shrunken Head on Pro Basket, with that Shrunken Head he can get involved in team fights if he wants to, but he can continue on split pushing as well, because there's nothing on Night Raid that stops a Shrunken TP. Absolutely nothing. So he can split push to his heart's desire, knowing full well that nothing can stop him if he just Shrunken Heads and TP straight out.
Very true.
But after that team wipe, now Night Raid and Mint are very equal in terms of farm. I don't think team fight is what he wants to do, even though he does have this Shrunken Head, because I mean, if they're going to lose team fights, 6,000 gold behind, imagine what it will do when they're equal in terms of farm. So, with that being said, Mint, they literally just lost their laning phase advantage just in that one team fight right there.
Yeah, exactly right. The advantage definitely just down the drain in a sense. So, I mean, sure, going to continue to start going back up. It's just the way Tremple's farming. But yeah, the fact that they closed that gap, pretty significant news. Now, Flux going the Icebrand route, so eventually I'm sure the Frostwolf Skull, it's definitely one of those items that it's a powerful tool on him because of the discharge, how it affects everyone with the Frostwolf Skull effect. Soul Stealer bottom lane. He's baiting, man. This is a heavy bait right here. Magnus is nearby, but it might be, they might have bit off a little bit too much that they could chew. There's a stun in. Maybe go for the Demon Hand turn. Not enough damage. That was close. They almost executed it, but oh, swap on a Magnus, by the way. Drama, can Torture get in range? No, she cannot. So trying for the big play, but
that was a little bit strange there from Serenia. I think if you just swapped out Soul Stealer to take off the Null Stone and then stunned him, that was a guaranteed kill right there. But I guess Serenia just wasn't on the ball right there.
Didn't want to waste the swap on that perhaps, but yeah, if it would have been a kill, that definitely would have been worth it. But decided to hold it back.
But yeah, going back to Night Red, they simply just can't teamfight until they get Shrunken Heads. If they get Shrunken Heads, I think they're happy to take on teamfights. So they need a Shrunken Head on Kraken and then a Shrunken Head on Valkyrie. And then when they get that around maybe the 35-minute mark, they should be able to start taking teamfights. So until then, just keep on split pushing, keep on forcing lanes, and just trying to stop Night Raid from grouping up and pushing. Because I think Night Raid could literally just group up, take the Tier 1 tower bot, take the Tier 1 tower top as well, and even maybe pressure the Tier 2s as well. But Night Raid are just happy farming right now, which I don't think is the right decision, because if they just start grouping up the top and bottom, like, what are Mint going to do? Just simply not, really. As long as they push out mid and top, I don't think Mint have the ability to start split pushing the other lanes. But they're going in mid, though.
Perhaps not playing this the strongest, but that silence is going to be enough locked in on a Kraken. Song of the Sea silence, you cannot underestimate that. I mean, you know, a lot of the time you liked it because for the follow-up with the burst damage, but the silencing effect, very, very strong tool. Now, middle lane Flux, he's going to be stopped. Yeah, he go in for the TP. You got to almost expect those stunts coming if Tremble dives you like that, especially in the middle lane. He thought he was fine. I mean, sure, he might not have been able to run anyways, but he went for it, got stopped, and now here goes Kongor. So it looks like Night Raid, you know, losing a bit of that momentum now that they have on the team fight, and perhaps going back to what you're just saying right there, maybe not taking advantage as much as they should be of this strength of this lineup here with the team fight presence.
Exactly. I mean, if they go as 5, they simply are the strongest as they will ever be. It's when they're a 5, when they're a unit, is when their strength of the draft lies. But when they're going for like pick-offs here and there, yeah, Mint can really react to it. Mint always want these sort of small engagements, 2v2s, 1v1s. This was where they want them to happen. But when that happens, you know, Night Raid lose 1 kill, and now they lose Kongor as well. So, and now this changes the game plan a little bit from Night Raid, because I think Mint, they might be willing to take teamfights now because of that token on Tremble.
Yeah. Bottom tower, whew, they get the tower kill and they get out actually just before, however, maybe not just before. Tremble ports in, he had them out in the flank position. Soul Stealer, easy kill on him. The Valkyrie arrow, some way, somehow, homing in on an engineer, picks up the kill as well, and now here we go with Night Raid, building off of their momentum that they're gaining once again.
Exactly.
They're going to keep going. Yeah, Magnus, you do not want to be doing anything too sneaky here. Yeah, he doesn't have a TP, he's in trouble.
And that just goes all back to the first kill. Like, if they don't, you know, give up the kill on Flux, they don't lose token, and if they don't lose token, then Mint simply can't teamfight. But now with Mint getting the token, you know, they're happy to take teamfights because they've got their advantage 6v5.
Yeah.
And it's a simple mistake turns into such a big turn there for Mint. Ooh, the arrow just missed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're gonna, you make a mistaken choice right there, and it'll backfire in matches like this with so much ultimately be on the line. These teams are here to win, baby. Flux pulls him in. Here we go. The team synergy. They don't have energy field. Might not matter. They pick up Torture, and they will kill. They will kill Tremble right there. Will they be able to get the follow kills? The question. He still doesn't have that Shrunken Head up right now, but the swap from Andromeda, the sacrificial line, nice line stun from Magnus right there. They want this Tremble dead. Will they get it? They will. Boom! Goes the Dynamite with the Soul Stealer, and down falls Tremble. Kraken, he's also being chased. Dust to expose him as in range, and now he's also going to be picked off. So, ladies and gentlemen,
the froze, man.
Night Raid. They team fight, baby. When they come together, it works out beautifully once again. Not everything Shrunken on Tremble. That really did hurt them right there.
Yeah, it's because Mint committed so much on the initial team fight down the Tier 1 tower. They committed, like you said, the Shrunken Head. I think they committed the ultimate from Kraken as well, I think, or even the Andromeda swap, for example. And when that happens, obviously, Night Raid, they have all their cooldowns up there. Not only that, but they're defending as well, so they have the strategic advantage in that respect. And Mint, they got a little bit too overconfident after taking that team fight down the Tier 1 and backfires. So the game of pros, ladies and gentlemen, is on track.
Yeah. Soul Stealer, again, keeping an eye on his farm. Obviously, he got the portal key on top of the Null Stone. He needs to start building damage, though, right? I mean, if they want to keep competing throughout the mid to the late game stage, I think more so the right-click threat probably makes sense here. Probably something like the Geo's Bane.
If it was the Soul Stealer, I think the Geos would be good actually. It can purge off the Aurora, which is actually it's one of those spells that is a little bit underrated, honestly. Like the -5 Aura plus, sorry, the -5 armor, and also the -20% base damage. It's like a mini Soul Burst in that respect.
Yeah,
it can do a lot of work. Actually, mid lane Torturer just explodes.
These portal keys, man, they got the jump attack and the courier. I mean, again, it's not a huge deal this later on, but still, Tremble ports in. Uh-oh, this could get interesting. Now he has a Shark Attack, gonna pop right there. Soul's gonna look at the return damage, man. Tremble's like, you are not gonna go toe-to-toe with me. And showed why right there. Flux bash proc? No, he didn't get it. So a little bit lucky there for Flux. But yeah, you're not gonna win a 1-versus-1 duel against Tremble if any hero on this Legion side, especially Soul Stealer. So
it's those 2v2 engagements again, though, that cost him. This time it's the Soul Stealer, last time it's the Flux, and they're most likely going to lose their tier 2 tower as well. Oh, Andromeda, though.
Andromeda getting jumped on initially. She will get killed. Energy field's there, but again, they don't have the discharge, so they're using a couple of these ultimates, one after the other, not necessarily in synergy sometimes, and that's proven to be a difference maker. Kraken, he's dropping a little bit low, but not low enough. And now Magnus, he's in no man's land. Do they have any way to expose him? Oh, he dodged a charge, actually. That was pretty good by him, not just sitting in the steam bath. But he's still not out of the woods just yet, literally. Has a ton of 1 second. Can he get it off? No, he cannot. I think that was a Brutalizer proc going off at the last second. And he eventually falls. So, yeah, really, Night Raid, as pretty as they've had a couple of these fights, it just keeps going back to, though, then they seem to make the mistake after the fact of they try to go for these solo ganks, and it clearly backfires. It's done that twice now, and that's where Mint is capitalizing. That is their strength. The individual fighting is no doubt their strength.
Yeah,
especially with Tremble.
They've got like the split between the individual 2v2 sort of skirmishes in that respect, and I mean they're definitely. I mean Mint definitely have team fight, but that's a lot later in the game. That peaks at the 40-minute mark when they've got Shrunken's on like Valkyrie, they've got Shrunken's on Kraken. And they can really start showing their carry potential. But right now, Night Raid, they have so much early damage. Like Magnus, Bubbles, Engineer, there's so much early damage, and it just doesn't seem that they're really able to really capitalize on it because of these tiny little misplays here and around. So.
You got the bottom lane. Soul Stealer pushing it out. Now Tremble in the vicinity. He's actually just stealing all these stacks that Night Raid had going for themselves. So very efficient farm. Now he's going to be spotted right there because of the discharge. However, at the top end, they're going for killing Andromeda. That's the point. He chose not to shell serve. Very interesting as far as poured in with it. That would have been a kill if he did.
Well,
but he didn't
remember
know.
what happened last time, though. Remember what happened the last 2 times. I think they're just scared of any kind of rotations. But it seems quite simple, though. Night Raid, all they need to do is, whenever they have all their ultimates up, they just push a tower, particularly the tier 1, because the tier 1s are obviously a lot easier to take because of just the logistical position where they are. It just seems that the Night Raid, it looks like they have a little bit of a differing opinion of what they should be doing. Soul still wants to keep on farming, and then it seems that the rest of the team wants to sort of start pushing and going for ganks. And I think that could just come back from maybe a little bit of a lack of leadership.
Here we go. You see, again, they're not going to stay up here. They portal key away, and everyone, not everyone, but a majority of heroes porting in to try to stop them, but clearly not going to do that. So, yeah, definitely Night Raid learning their lesson to an extent as far as, okay, we just got to stop overcommitting. Portal key on Engineer, by the way. Now, that is huge because that allows them to now follow up with the, or more so lead the way, where then Flux would ideally follow up, as we saw before. If he lines it up where he's on the actual energy field itself and he pulls him in, it's ridiculous, the combo. That works right there. That's why this combo has been picked up many times before. Tremble just finished his own Frosted Skull, by the way. So again, it goes back to the idea that you're not going to be killing this Tremble hero, at least easily, especially with the Shark in hand now. The Frosted Skull, he's not going to be your focus target, I think is safe to say, here in these team fights.
Yeah, definitely. I think Valkyrie's picked up his stronger net as well, actually. So, Mint, they're closing in to the time where that's where they're going to start hitting their peaks right now. And Night Raid, they're sort of, their peak or their potential is slowly slipping away from them, honestly. Because, they're farming with Soul still, it's going good. They've got good farm on him. But in the later this goes, I think it's only going to be worse here from Night Raid. So I really think they need to force it. But when they get picked off like that, it's really hard to force it, obviously.
Tremble just locks you down, man. I missed the action there of it actually happening, but it happened pretty quickly, and my guess is a Brutalizer proc helped right there to secure that kill. A Valkyrie Prism going to be used Something was seen, though, it looks like. You can see the Legion team just all falling back. So clearly again, that is one of the downsides of a Valkyrie Prism. If just one person isn't ready for it to be used, if you're not communicating to its fullest, then it'll completely ruin the idea of it. So right there, perfect example. Night Raid falls back and no kills as a result, but instead they'll continue to farm. You mentioned the Shrunken Head just being delivered to Valkyrie right here in the meantime. So again, a very, very important item to have here on the Hellborn side, just as the portal key is for the Legion team. So they got the 3 Shrunken Heads now on those different heroes. Andromeda, by the way, shout out to Serenia, Ion Stone picked up. How about that? Not an item we see often, but it's going to be picking up, especially with support no longer playing on the scene. It just like died off completely, but Serenia apparently.
I think it's one of those items that is maybe a little bit more useful in the early game. I mean, it definitely has a good use in the late game, particularly when he picks up like DD or Illusions, for example. But I don't know, actually, I didn't see when he got it, to be fair, so I shouldn't really comment. But I mean, I think the item's really good if you can get it early on, particularly when you're going try versus try, because you have a lot of rotation, so you're able to pick up the runes, for example. But yeah, I mean, if you're playing like a first support here, I don't see why not, particularly with the ward spot now not really taking up a slot in the inventory. I think you can go for these more cheap support items. So I like it.
Valkyrie hiding down here at the bottom lane, and for good reason. You do see the rotation coming out from Night Raid here as Social leading the way. Again, he chooses to go the Geometer Span. That's what we're both kind of getting at there. It's a mix of, sure, a good defensive tool, perching off something like the Aurora, as you're talking about earlier, but also gives him some good right-click damage, at least more than he was having so far with the Null Stone on top of the Portal Key. And again, probably... Now... Oh, actually, he's going to find Valkyrie right here. He knows, and he's going to want... Oh, if he... Yeah, the Shrunken Head, though. He's just going to go straight up auto attacks, and it's going to be enough. King Plato. I love the idea. Again, he probably figured he was going to Shrunken Head anyway, so no point in even trying to Soul Burst. He's just like, I'm just going to right-click you down before you TP out. And he was successful with that. Well played by King Plato. And now they're going to push off of this.
Yeah, I'm surprised Zippe actually leapt as well, because that sort of almost reduced his time from just instant Shrunken Head TP. And that could have been the difference between him dying or not. But yeah, really well played from King Plato. Mid top lane Bubbles should be fine.
I don't know. We saw earlier he got picked off, but oh no, don't brutalize proc. Okay, good. He's gonna survive in the end. So, but yeah, here comes the bottom push. But again, they're not full force here. So got to be a little bit careful. And again, you can definitely see Night Raid adapting to this game. They're like, all right, no, let's not do this again. Let's not give Mint a chance to really continue to climb into this game and gain more momentum. Let's just fall back, and that they do. Cookies, so he got the Ice Brand earlier. He actually develops into a Shrunken Head, though, himself, rather than going straight Frosted Skull here. I don't
know if I really like that though. I mean, there's a couple of things that can obviously it's going to be good against obviously the Valkyrie, the Torturer, and the Andromeda. But I think his main job is obviously sort of set up for the AOE presence from the draft. And after that, I think he needs sort of almost soak up damage. And he can't really be soaking up damage if he's got a Shrunken Head because no one's going to focus it with any of their spells. I think I actually would have preferred a Frostwolf because although your Shrunken Head is always good and you can never say it's bad, I think he needs to almost play like a role of maybe doing a bit more damage or even soaking up a couple of the single target spells like the Andromeda Stun.
Yeah.
But it's still going to be good though, obviously.
Honestly, think something like for these supports here, even like a Void Talisman wouldn't be the worst option. There's plenty of physical threat and single target physical threat. Anyways, Flux, he's going to be gone right here. They kill Conquer, so again, pretty bad timing now. Flux, he's looking for that pull, the energy field, but again, a lot of Shrunken Heads to use. Andromeda, not one of them. She goes down. They're all on top. The AoE, though, for the Hellborn team also pretty big, and we see Probosc with that token of life doing plenty. This Soul Burst in the background again with the Shrunken Heads, though, mitigating so much. Soulster trying to run. I don't know if it's going to be successful. Got the Evasion Bracelet, though, the Snake Bracelet more specifically, somehow avoids the charge right there. Is going to be picked off when it's all said and done, though. Magnus, the sole survivor, but a 4-for-2 exchange well in favor of Mint right there. I feel like we say it so often, man. The classic example of just going a little bit too late right there.
Yeah, it was that, but paired with the Shrunken Heads, though, from Min. They all popped the Shrunken Heads. The Magnus Eruption did nothing, so did the Song of the Sea, and so does the Soul Burst from Soul Stealer as well. The Shrunken Heads are just... They're doing too much damage breaking, and I really think Night Raid, they've just missed their timing.
Yeah, it's too much of a counter to this leading team. Magnus, that was... I don't know about that. He's stunned in, and I think ideally wanted to Portkey. He somehow still is able to Portkey away, so good job.
He gets the debuff from Torrent, but he can still Portkey. That's
true, yeah.
That's pretty clutch. But yeah, I think they just missed their timing. Honestly, they didn't force themselves a big enough advantage in terms of team fights or towers, and that's why it's looking a little bit grim for them now.
Trying to at least get the token used, and honestly that was pretty close. But Tremble does avoid it, and the ultimate stays alive. Bubbles No, he's not going to go yellow there. They deny the tower again. The tower's dead. That's the important factor here in favor of Mint. So, yeah, it's like, how do you deal with it? As you said, perhaps just missing the timing. Of course, they're still going to continue on in this game. But so, ideally, though, how are you going to deal with that? Hellflower or Sheep Sticks are the obvious choices. Yeah. Neither one of those are coming out anytime soon. So it's just going to be a matter of just trying to some way, somehow catch Mint off guard. Not maybe there as a full team, but that's going to be a lot easier said than done, of course.
Yeah, and then that's going to rely on obviously Mint misplaying, which I mean they've had a couple of misplays, but overall they have been really impressing me so far. I think if there's going to be something, it has to be actually some mind games here from Night Raid. They've got to bait out the Shrunken Heads from Tremble, Valkyrie, and Kraken. If they can do that, I mean even Torchcrest, like this is when Mint's game plan is so clear. The leadership is perfect. Just pick up Shrunken Heads on everyone. Torchcrest for a Shrunken Head as well, and I don't see why not. He does quite a bit of damage as well. And if you look at Night Raid, who have they got for physical damage outside of Soul Stealer? It's just all it is magical. So yeah, really like the almost the mindset here from Mint. But going back for what Night Raid can do to try and get back in this game, they have to bait out the Shrunken Heads. They're just doing too much work. Either they've got to bait them out or wait till they're hitting the 5-second Shrunken Heads, which is very, very close. I think Valkyrie's got 8 seconds, 7 seconds on Tremble, and a 9 from Kraken. So they've got a long while before the Shrunken Heads go down to 5 seconds. So I think they have to bait them out, like maybe bait out with a Flux ultimate, and then follow up with the Magma Eruption, like 2 or 3 seconds afterwards, for example. But the team up fights here have to just try and fight around the Shrunken Heads here from Mint because they're just doing simply too much work for them in the team fights.
Well, we'll see how that develops. Maybe a hindsight thing, too. Flux has the potential to be of a physical threat somewhat, building items like in Sanitarius and whatnot. But again, he chose to go more of this, I'm just going to be a pure initiator role. And again, it's one of those cases, if they kept that going earlier on, it's no doubt been his role. But now that we are in that, getting to the later game stage, it would have been better if he went more of that physical threat, but of course, it is that hindsight deal. Now, they're going for a catch on the Valkyrie. They're going to be successful. She chose not to use a Shrunken Head for a pretty good reason. Even if she did, probably was dead anyways.
TP, I don't know why Zibe's holding them under that tree instead of a TP, but alas. But yeah, I think this going back to the Flux Shrunken Head, though, I think that could be a slight cause for concern as well. If he picks up an Insanitarius, like you said, Breaky, or even a Frostwall score, I think that would have done a lot more work, would have gave him a lot more damage, and also would have gave him the ability to maybe soak up some damage here from Mint, but unfortunately not. I mean, they should definitely stay in this game though, because particularly with the strength of their team fight, you still can almost rely on the misplays from Mint. I remember when Swindle would say something like, you can never underestimate the ability of the other team to throw the game. And Mint definitely have the ability to throw a game if they take a bad team fight, forget to pop their Shrunken Heads, for example, and then that's all Night Raid need to get back into this game.
Yeah.
So,
we've seen it before. It's like a complete mind lapse. Players just simply forget to use their Shrunken Heads. Yeah, it's rare, but hey, as you said, do not underestimate the chance to throw. So. Look at this Veiled Rot, man. Look at Mint. They're the ones in the good advantage. They're trying to even get further ahead. But as you see on the mini-map, that's not really going to happen. So it's instead of using the Valkyrie Prison, they go for the Veiled Rot attempt. Unless they get all the way to Soul Stealer, who's still over here. They may, actually.
I'm surprised Mint will make it. I think, actually, if it's going to be anyone, Night Raid should be making this play. Mint should just be trying to delay, try and farm up as much as possible. But I guess if they find a kill, then it's going to be worth it.
That could have been like a killing blow, even, in a sense, but
that's true. Yeah, that is true. Like, if they do catch someone, it's going to guarantee racks, I guess. So.
Yeah.
My double. So. Look at that double smoke as well because of the Valkyrie Prism.
Yep, so they're going to go all the way across the map. Oh man, now this is a good chance. Engineer's like, hey guys, I'm killing him out. Oh, now I'm dead. Yeah, Soul Stealer, get out of there. Oh, he portal keyed in, though. That's not good news. He is going to be able to get away, but Engineer, yeah, very costly mistake.
He has no buyback as well. Man, that's actually, especially with a Flux Engineer combo, that could have cost some racks actually right now.
That's exactly right. The killing blow, perhaps. That's exactly what we're getting at. That's why Mint went for that play. So with no buyback, definitely a target that they were hoping to get. This is easily a melee rack skill. In fact, very little defense. There's a Soul Burst, but again, Shrunken Head's going off all over the place. The eruption in the background call. The Valkyrie comes down. Look at the cleanup. Yeah, and that's well in favor of Fresh. That's probably it. That's an example right there of, they just have too much fighting power. The Shrunken Head's too powerful. Oh, man, they just melted. Jeez.
Yeah, they really did. They used buybacks, but, I mean... Ooh, they're going to catch, though.
Catch? Nope. Swap from Andromeda. She may end up dying. Maybe not. That armor buff doing some work right there. Stun on a Soul Stealer off to the side. Tremble. He's still going full force. Energy Field finally coming out. Now, they do not have Shrunken, but it just doesn't matter. Because, again, too much has already been done here. Tremble just right-clicking people. like it's his job or something. And GG, well played. Game 1 will officially go to Min. So, yeah, what more else to say than just perhaps missing their timing windows, not maybe doing as much force pushing earlier on, and clearly the carry potential just took over for Mint right there.
Yeah, that was definitely exactly what happened. They were expected to lose the laning phase. They did. They bounced back from a big team fight down mid, but they didn't force the advantage that they had in the maybe the 15 to maybe 30 minute. They had a massive advantage because that was before Mint had any stronger heads. But they didn't force it. They didn't go for a push. They didn't group up. They just kept on playing the same game, and as a result, it really did cost them. But I have to say, the draft here from Cinerino was really, really nice as well. Realizing that Night Ray were going to go all in on this sort of team fight magic damage burst, and it was like, look, I'm going to draft a team that wins the laning phase, and then I'm going to draft a team that can sort of split push and get strong heads, and then eventually start taking those team fights. And as he did, so really well played from Mint. I have been really impressed with them so far, and looking forward to game 2.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 in the books right here. Again, for those that are coming on more around the default time, to apologize. It wasn't the most notifications. Definitely apologize for that. But this match did get rescheduled to 45 minutes earlier than the default starting time. So we did start about 45 minutes ago. So, of course, with that said, game 1 going to be in the books right here. But we got a game 2 coming up. And if it's any bit the similar style, it should be another entertaining game. And we'll see if Night Ray can force that third and final game, or if Fresh right here is going to take care of business and move on. The winner of this will play Willowkeeper this weekend. The loser drop down to the losers bracket here of Group A. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We got game number 2 coming up here in Honcast. Hon Tour Season 3 playoff action coming at you from Group A